Well, everyone, the iPhone 11 is one of those iPhones that I personally think is a really decent device to go and pick up. It's definitely not the first iPhone I would recommend people to buy, but it definitely isn't the last either. And I would probably tell you, if you have like a super old iPhone, let's say you have something like an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 6s, I think going up and jumping up to something like an iPhone 11 is actually a decent option when it kind of comes down to it. So we'll take a look at it throughout this whole entire video. First things first though, I will tell you, when it comes down to just the build quality of the iPhone 11, it still feels like a pretty expensive device. It generally does not feel like a super old, outdated, or ugly phone. And I do think that is kind of a big thing to kind of keep in mind here, because you're still able to go through and pick up a phone like an iPhone 11 and still get a pretty decent experience with it from a build quality standpoint. And also the fact that you're still able to go through and basically get a dual camera setup on the backside is also very surprising, considering the iPhone 16e isn't even giving you a dual camera setup. So that right there is honestly a pretty surprising thing in and of itself. I'd also probably say that when it comes down to basically the availability of the iPhone 11 and the price tag, this iPhone is very cheap. It really does not cost that much money, but also it's going to be a fairly affordable iPhone for a lot of people. And that is one of the biggest selling points here for this type of phone. The fact that it does not cost that much money and it's going to be there for you when you pick it up, like those are some really important things to keep in mind. And I do think this in and of itself, it is probably going to be a really big thing to keep in mind in that particular situation. So once again, kind of keep that as you kind of keep in mind. But I do think that is a pretty big takeaway for this iPhone 11 as well. Now, I'd also probably say that if you're going to go through and pick up an iPhone 11, the performance of this phone is definitely not its best selling attribute. It definitely is showing its age just a little bit, but it's also not super bad either. And I don't want to give the impression that this is like the worst performing iPhone of all time, because it really isn't. Like, there's still a lot of capability behind this. You're still getting the Apple A13 Bionic chip, and you're still getting 4 GB of RAM. And at the time, this was actually one of the best selling iPhones, right? Or not the best selling, but it was one of the best performing iPhones when this thing came out in 2019. So I do think there's another big asset going on for this phone in that particular situation as well. So it's still supported with software, and it's still kind of a phone I'd recommend buying if you're in an extreme budget situation. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.